Transmitting from the University of Presidia with an update on the geothermal activity.
I don't remember what this mission was. Was it all air? Mostly air? I think it was mostly air. Volcano. So we catch these guys early. Shoot flares, fuck it. Plenty of ammo left. Leakers.
Unsurprising. Leo was returned to the scene of the crime. Talio on 3 bandits. It has to be him. Of course it is.
Oh, these guys again. something about sheep. Yeah, the DSC music for the apocalyptic fucking fight near a volcano, man. It's fucking Star Wolf here. Dialogue on. Bloody Max, jeez. Not the charisma to back it up, man. I should shoot every one of my long-range missiles. One's gonna miss and the other's not up missing, so I might have to shoot a little bit. That guy with the repeated dialogue. I'm gonna bag a few kills today. Yeah. Little bit. I've only got standards in the gun, man. Kinda wish I was packing double gun. Plenty of gun ammo at least. God, I wish I had that ability, man. Who's got flares, dude? Yeah, let's do it. This guy's almost dead. Which one's technically the front man? Crimson one or whatever. Already dead. Oh, ability? I'll be able to equip flares and the AoE at the same time. I don't know if that's possible on some ship. The mission, since they don't have any checkpoints, I feel like it's way safer to pick flares, but they're not as fast as the AoE. But since there's only two options, it feels like they should just both be in. Not like you have to make a whole lot of decisions, but maybe there's some like super ships later. Yeah, it's really fun for sure. It just depends on the mission. AoE is more entertaining, but if the mission's like 40 minutes long, I'm just like, I'll just get flares. Depends. Not every ship has AoE. I don't know if this one does. It might have. I mean, you can dodge most of the missiles with just normal movement, but
we finally moved into prosperity.
Depends. Like if I'm using the SAAs or whatever, you have to paint them for so long you'll get hit by all the missiles, so it's like I kind of want flares if I'm going to use those. So.
We have now taken back the initiative, the offensive, and soon enough, our country. Federation forces throughout the country are retreating off coast.
No, you're good.
Congregating in Presidia. This means that they'll have their final stand on this continent in our capital city.
We're stopping by.
Hitman team, stand by.
No, it's a fun game.
The time is nearly upon us. Presidia is on the horizon, and the Federation is cornered like.
So a lot of the missions recently have actually been pretty short because they're more boss fights. I'm guessing we're gonna have some big ones. Wrap it up.
The Independence Force is preparing for one last naval engagement before the siege of Presidia begins. For months, ever since the lockdown on aerial cargo and commerce, the Federation military in the region has used Presidian ports to assist its supply train. This only increased when Prospero was lost and the geothermal fractures were reignited. Our fleet, along with eminent domain, has tried to
lots of
holes in our own blockade. However, the Federation has brute forced their way into having a line. The naval convoy is the Federation's only lifeline left. Once it is severed, we can choke out the considerable defenses of Presidia. However, there is also another objective to this. In Presidia's main naval harbor is the Federation's first naval battlecruiser. Its concentration of the harbor currently represents the strongest component of Presidia's defenses. Ever since the war started, they have not moved from their position in order to reinforce the city. We intend to change that. By taking out these vital convoys, we anticipate that this fleet will have to respond in order to keep Presidia from being trapped. Independence Force naval elements not already predisposed are being rerouted to just outside of Presidian waters to throw themselves upon the naval blockade. Its destruction, the immediate replacement with our own blockade, and then the removal of the Federation's own naval force is paramount in winning this war. Support our naval forces in sinking the Federation Navy. Victory here means we save a lot of lives when the final push comes.
The final push. Right, we'll try AOA this time. Although this seems like a long mission, maybe I wouldn't want to. We'll do it anyways. We're just gonna have to play way more schmovie. Yeah, I feel like if there's only 2 options, you might as well just kill both. Would it be too strong? I don't think so. Maybe. Maybe make flares something you can only use like every 10 to 20 seconds instead. It's we only used it like twice. Probably maybe even easier to handle that in first person. You can see exactly when to stop aiming the target dudes. Alright, one more, then a wave 2, I guess. I just said like 100 missiles. Fucking cruise to 5, dude. Oh, if you get an extra gun, they change the hockey, man. Yeah, you can get some way better angles of this. I thought I softened up enough. Too much juice there. Oh man, I barely touched it. I thought I got all over it, man. Coming in too hot. Maybe it's the little antenna or whatever. I almost never use those. Gotta be more careful though. I go way too far. I think it goes a little farther than you actually see it go. Because you're going to be pulling up as the camera pulls back in and shit. I need to always pull back less. Hard to do a machine gun run with a bunch of missiles coming at you too. Most of these are coming from, I don't know if there's like a SAM on one of these, probably is. Low, man. They just need to tap, man. Or I let go of the pull up. That's what I need. Because I do pull up, like, even after I've turned it off. Let's just get the required ones. Maybe the allies will handle these guys. Let's take him out from the side or something. Oh wait, we got a big one here too. the fringe dudes first. Whoops. Wrong button. Jesus. Easy, lad. And if you flew off in a carrier and then your carrier blew up, that would suck. You'd have to start fucking gunning it straight for land at that point. Or to get close and then parachute or something. Get a couple extra points real quick. Yeah, I feel like if there's a surrender and there's just giant ships like that flying around, they just kill them anyways. Right?
Forces in order to break our blockade. It is in this time that we will reclaim Presidia.
Yeah. A couple extra work. Wonder how often that happens. Probably pretty often.
Galaxy.
Somebody surrenders or there's some ceasefire and people just get a couple more shots off.
Long story short, a good part of the world is knowing what
My hand slipped.
and I've got myself an army no one has ever seen before. Mercenaries, freedom fighters, maybe a secret proxy squadron or two from anti-Federation powers. But hey, we're all in it together now. Refit and reload. We'll get back to it soon enough.
We're gonna let the blockade stew for as long as we can as invasion preparations are set. But we've got to move fast on the capital, or they'll be too entrenched. Hitman
The capital.
Team, stand by. May the Dust Mother see us through.
Dude, this game's gonna end on a cliffhanger, dude. Feels like the kind of game that wouldn't, but they also pretty gung-ho about their story. And there's a lot of other facts. I don't know what word there's been on this dev doing any other games. I have to look into what they've done.
Throughout the world,
Don't know a damn thing about them.
beacon of rebellion against the Federation, and for that, I have gathered an army. They're no Sicario, but it's the best we've got, and the rebels will take everything they can. At first, when taking
Did they?
this
I have no
job,
idea.
I thought it was only business.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know anything about them. Curious if they did.
Done what they did to us, to Sicario. Only blood will pay for this contract.
Lots of air, lots of
We intended to
ground.
keep the blockade going for at least a month to drain the Federation defenders, but circumstances have forced our hand. We are moving on Presidio
Literal
today.
one guy project. That'd be pretty sick.
Listen up. This is it.
Be based.
With the supply lines cut and the blockade holding against any reinforcements, Presidia is the final Federation stronghold in Cascadia. Once it falls, Cascadia will be
Maybe I should have
liberated.
done some research before.
The city has been deeply entrenched against both land and air attacks. The firepower which exists there now is the sum of any units that have survived this long into the war. With no way out, their only chance at survival is to fight. We intend to meet
Or
them
surrender.
and end them outright. The operation to take back Presidia will be separated into 4 cardinal parts: land, air, sea, and endgame. All combat operational ground forces will be pushing into Presidia from inland, surrounding the enemy forces. From there, they will start dismantling the resistance and taking control of the city. At sea, the eminent domain will be moving in toward the shore
Oh,
to
shit.
provide gunnery support and
Wingman
wipe out
project,
any
badass,
illegal
man.
defenders. Overhead, the
They
last
love to
of
see it,
Federation
dude.
air power and country will be out trying to inflict
Small
as
group
much
of people
damage
making
on the
something
IS as
good.
possible. Once these factors are accounted for and our forces are in position,
I don't have a massive frame of
final phase
reference
will
on
commence.
Arcady
We will
jet
start
fighters,
moving
but
into the city
I'm
toward
having
the
fun
port
with
to
this
wipe
one.
out the Federation from Cascadia once and for all.
And I joke about the story, but it's not like it's
Team, you are among our
rancid
most
or
veteran
anything. It's
elements
just got
among
some
the
cheesy
defenders.
dialogue here and there.
You will be our spearhead.
But you know what's going
It is by
on,
your
and
attacks
they try
that
to
the
set up
offensive will
some
conduct itself.
apocalypse set
Choose
pieces
which
and
element
stuff
of
to
the
keep
battle
it
you want to
spicy.
take on and in what order.
You get the
We
idea
don't
of the
know
scale and all that,
reinforcements ourselves.
even if you're
It's
not into the
everything what
characters.
Federation is left behind, but without your support, it will not be enough. We don't know how this battle will be won, but it ends in the complete and utter devastation of either us or them. Cascadia is our home, and Presidia is its heart. The flag that flies over it at the end will decide all of our fates.
It's the final battle. I know the total number of missions, but I don't know which mission we're on. Like, keep it that way. I don't even want to know. Keep rocking. There's gonna be that much air, maybe I should bring 2 sets of MLAs. I like having the double guns though, it's cool, man. You can use them on air too. You can use them on slow moving air units. I guess you could use them in a dogfight too. Well, we're definitely bringing the anti-ground shots, but... I'm surprised there's a boss too. It's more fun having the double guns, man. Read the AOA again. It's really strong for the dogfights. It's just when there's a lot of missiles. It's a pain to just dodge the whole time.
All call signs commence the offensive. We are the descendants of those who would not be ruled. Show them what that means. To all mercenaries, do not count days. Do not count miles. Count only the number of Feds you have killed. Go! Hitman team, you're on point. Proceed to
Ooh.
what area you think
city left, man.
Stacked up.
Did it kind of get nuked? Or is this a different city? Thought this was the one that got hit by fucking like super nukes, man.
Cleared for guns. Going for another launch.
I shouldn't use too much crazy ammo if the situation doesn't really demand it. Keep it to the cheap shit for small fights. I've already used quite a few ground missiles. Oops, I unlocked them. Yeah, it's in there.
Ground unit knocked out.
Our guys are kind of lagging behind, man. They're keeping busy with somebody else.
Maintain current engines and engage the enemy. Accept nothing less than total superiority. Let me at him. No big deal, right?
Got some big boy ships too.
You're in gun range.
Take care of the anti-air guns. I could use the MAs on this guy, but it's like he's slow moving, so I could just take it easy. Although the MAs are good for like cleaning up the bunch of random fucking like SAMs or any guns on these ships from far away. I guess that'd be a reason to do it.
Advance 1, locked on. Signature. Strike
He's not on the list, but I might kill him anyways, because he's on my ass, man. We're waiting for the next wave. Of course, there's another goon on me, man. I got him, man. Right above me, though. Don't have many MLAs left, I'm gonna save them. Grounds have not been useful at all, man. But that's useful. As long as you're not going in from the front or the back, exactly, I guess. Or you take out the anti-air guns, it's fine. Like the really big one. Plain Jane. Is it good? So I should use the priority thing. A little bit of gun left, not many missiles. We got plenty of ground missiles. Okay, that got it. Let's come in from the front and we get some get the AA guns down, man. Can we not target that? Anything? Weird. finish this dude off.
Monarch, you're locked on. Right on target.
Almost out of the second gun. Maybe I'll save it just in case. I don't think we need to kill them quick right now. I think we've pretty much destroyed all their guns and stuff. Eight more, 16 more. They never seem to run out of them LAGs, which is good.
Took you long enough. Well, that's all for them to call signs. You survived, Roman? Affirmative. Listen up. We've been inside the city attacking defenses ever since we went dark. The Federation has multiple layers of defenses, and you're gonna have to go around through them all. We go talk again and find with the militia down here. Man team, Monarch, if you're listening, I give my graces to the king of hell. Ground asset knocked out.
Just soften it up from far away with these. Pepper these guys. Those helicopters. We don't have to worry about helicopters. I did it anyway, there, guys. Fly a little more ballsy, but we're kind of really far into this mission, man. This is the thing with having checkpoints. It's not really about the difficulty, it's what you're willing to allow, like the risks you're allowing to take, I think is maybe an argument to have maybe like a checkpoint. I wouldn't mind like flying through some fucking buildings and doing some shooting for fun, but artillery's in a bad spot. Spots.
Missile is tracking. Back to the Port Authority building. This is it.
There's more still. 4 ground missiles, 4 air missiles, 72 standards, and some double machine gun. Pretty much got nothing.
IDs on remaining targets in Presidia. Kill them all. What? Hold on a second. Too little, too late, damn it. All units cease engagement immediately.
There's some more bombs.
Independence Force HQ, representing the free and civil government of Cascadia. All active units, stand down. I repeat,
ceasefire or something. I mean, it didn't say mission complete.
Answers from above. What's going on? All Federation military forces operating within the territory of Cascadia are to stand down and evacuate. This is an order from your prime executive. Effective.
I'll start speeding up. If it's cruise missiles, I'm gonna have to be fast.
Let's see, the parties participating in a neutral conference held in the land of the Republic of Albion, hosted by the United Kurd-Europa Alliance, with a view to ending the war and restoring peace in relation to Cascadia on the basis of respect of the self-actualization of the Cascadian people, have agreed on the following provisions and undertake to respect and to implement them following a what? Spit it out! A ceasefire has been declared. All units stand down. We would have held the city if it was called just an hour ago. Damn it. Seriously? God damn. Changing IFF parameters now. We're fighting less than 10 seconds ago, Galaxy. We can't possibly expect everyone to stop. I'm less than 10 yards away from hostile infantry. What am I supposed to do? All units stand down. I repeat, stand down. This is what we've been looking for.
Elite speed.
Embassy, wave everyone down. I'll be damned if I let these spies through. Is that it? Is the war over? Just like that? We did it. We did it. I can't believe it. We resisted the Federation. All units are directed to clear a path to the harbor for surrendering Federation units. They will be transported out by sea. If you want to survive, get to the harbor. Throw down your guns and run. Anyone who's wearing a Federation tag will be taken as a prisoner. I don't like this. We've all been blue-balled. All units, stand by. Let them know who won this war. A flag right next to them. What's our exit? All units, stand by. Maintain presence over Presidia as the Federation makes their exit. Stand by. All units, just hold on.
The mysterious boss man.
Our warnings are going off. Who's ever doing this better cease fire. The war's off. I'm not getting any from my warnings. What's going on? Heads on a swivel. Now. All of us. We've been spiked. Vector. I'm bogey dope. Contact. Faded.
It's a lot of missiles.
I see it. Break.
Is this their super anti-air volley machinery? Nuking the whole city again, man. When are these cities not getting nuked, man? Is it a fake ceasefire? They're just like a lot of assholes. Okay, it is over. I can slow down now. I was like getting ready for max speed. The 500 IQ move, the fake ceasefire, and to nuke the whole fucking city, dude. Every time they lose, just nuke your own city with all the enemies on it. Massive brain move, dude. You're bound to have a bunch of allies after that. Oh, straight into another one. Not again. Crimson guy's back again. Gotta have the fucking 1v1 against this obsessed dude. But he couldn't win before. Why would he win now? buddy. Already hurting a little bit. We haven't even started. Got railguns on his fucking thing. Oh, he's probably got one of those super fucking prototypes or whatever. But have fucking like crazy volleys and railguns. And the radar's not working for shit too. Close. Buddy, I'm not listening. I'm trying to fight you. God, I got hit by the railgun. The AOA makes these dogfights so much more fucking doable, man. You can just do fucking crazy turns. The problem is it like destroys your speed, so if you use it too much you're gonna be fucking locked. This guy must have god tier parachute luck, man. I've killed him like 2 or 3 times at this point. I mean, even Starwolf had to get some cyborg fucking enhancements, man, after he got shot down. I think he made it out of there quite right, man. Phase 3. I got itch my ear. Actually, I'm just gonna itch my eye. He's got everything, man. The railgun fucking psycho railgun attack. Fucking like bubbles, man. The reality marbles, man. He's got The anime attacks, dude. Whoa. Okay. The ground, dude. The biggest enemy. Actually, I wouldn't mind going to the hangar. We have the ground shots that are useless. I don't know if you'd have to do the other mission again. An anticlimactic way to go, man. Too much turning.
You're slave to history. Even after calamity, you fight against the only order that can guarantee the safety of your people. You solely are responsible for this.
His point of view. I just crashed into the water. What a loser. Then fucking crashes, yeah, seriously. Just fucking dodging all this insane animation and then whoops.
You have to show for yourself, Mark. I will bury you so completely. The earth will turn over 1,000 times before your body's dug up. You can't run. You can't hide. You made this decision alone.
The problem is I might have been building up too much speed, making it harder to turn. Because your AOA when you use it does have like a small cooldown, like 2 seconds, I think.
I'm Cascadian. If I take joy in fighting over my own land, kill my own countrymen. If you ever showed up, I never would have lost all that I have.
I'm gonna use the targeting. I have not actually used this hardly at all. It just points you to exactly where he is. As long as you can get a single walk on him.
Just me and you. Whoever wins is the best pilot.
I don't even use. I use the mini map for like everything, but I don't actually need to. I guess right now. I thought he was gonna do some shit.
To
Yes. And I hope they burn in hell.
The Federation might try to forget about you, but I won't. This is for the good of the world.
What is he nuking shit now? Are they nuking it? The mecha. Fucking stall. Did too many maneuvers. Get some speed. He's still talking, dude.
When the storm comes for you,
Where's the mech?
remember me.
No thanks. I guess this prototype thing probably has some pretty heavy shit in it. This is when I need to crash into the ground, dude. It's reading the System Shock 2 ending. Nah, and it just flies away. I'm good, dude. Crazy murder man. Who? Who's in? Did his wingman like die? Or did they just get away? War is hardcore, brother. We won the war, but at what cost? Yeah, I'll find out in the sequel, dude. They pick up the remains. John Tosox Russo. More people from Humble Bundle than the actual dev team. Oh, groovy. Ace Combat fan, dude. Did this one get kickstarted? Doesn't seem like it. Unless there's just a few people. It did? Okay. Oh, hey there. Here they come. Well, it was good. I mean, I liked it. I don't have a huge frame of reference. I haven't played Ace Combat. From what I understand, Ace Combat's a bit more anime. This one's pretty anime at times, which is fine. I would prefer it just to be fun and over the top than if I want to play a sim, I go play fucking sim. Right? Maybe this has a balance. I don't know. I mean, obviously the infinite fucking ammo is pretty much, or not infinite, but lots of ammo is not realistic. Each game's gonna have a different balance. I mean, like Star Fox is like as arcadey you get, right? Or like Afterburner Climax or something. But that's barely even a fucking. You don't even like free move in Afterburner. It's more like a shmup. You just happen to be in a jet. But yeah, I had fun with it. It was cool. I think if I had any little problems, it would be. I think flares and the AOA probably could just both be on each ship. Toru Adachi. Is that a P5 joke, or who is Toru Adachi? Jose Hugo Iglesias Hernandez. Churches. AK-47 David, dude. What's that, man? Cool. Oh, that was his first name. He would, man. Okay. Sly Cooper fan 1, dude. I always forget Adachi's first name, and I mix him up with, what's his ass from P5, Pancake Kid. I don't know what I do. But anyways, yeah, I enjoyed it. I think, like, you know, you could probably have both of those at once, and then have, you know, the fights. You know, maybe make flares a bit more longer of a cooldown or something, or have like a certain amount of charges or something like that to balance it. Because the AoE is really fun for dogfighting. It makes, because dogfights without AoE are just this really long, you just slowly, especially in the early ones when your ships aren't very good, this is like non-stop spinning for like hours as you try to find like a good shot. And I mean, a lot of that skill, don't get me wrong, but getting the AoE there actually helps a lot with that kind of shit. Kind of on an awkward button. Pressing the stick while you're also moving it, it's kind of, I mean, I guess it's fine, but I prefer it on a different button. Other than that, the checkpoint system, I don't think it was a problem in these last few because the missions weren't super long, but oddly enough, the first few missions, like the first half of the game, the missions are like these 30-40 minute like things. You also have less killing power because you're not as good and your ships aren't as good, so they take longer because of that. But yeah, you're not as willing to take crazy risks in any of these like environments that have a bit more like buildings or tunnels or something. Like in that one mission where there was a tunnel bit, I ended up, because of how long the mission was, I would just try to shoot shots in there because it's too much of a risk. I think that's an argument to have checkpoints. I don't think it was a big deal. It was definitely no game breaker. There's arguments against that too. I mean, I guess the difficulty, you go out with your ammo. I'm not saying I wouldn't want checkpoints that refilled your ammo, your health, or nothing. You should have to manually restart. But I think the difficulty they add isn't really worth it in the early missions compared to like the more ballsy kind of fun having. I feel like that's where the difficulties come in. So. Either way, I don't think it's a big deal. It didn't have a huge impact. It's at the very beginning And with having to choose between flares and AoE, flares are just more safe. Like, well, if I have to redo 40 minutes of a game, I'd rather pick the safe option than the ballsy option. Other than that, I get buying all of the different ships is probably supposed to be something that's, you know, it's replay value. I would argue that second half of the game, you only really buy like 1 or 2 ships. I think maybe they could have tuned it to give you like 1 extra ship's worth of money. And then have missions where you'd like want to outfit differently. Because I would switch to stuff that had more anti-ground, or I'd switch to stuff that had more anti-air, and it was actually really useful what you kitted your jet out in. But in the late game, it's like, well, I only have the 1, and I'm not going to sacrifice good feeling gameplay for something like slower just because it has a few more shots of something I might need. So I ended up using the same shit every time, which was still fun. I had fun, but I had more fun because of the movement than really the weapon choices at that point. So if I had like a ship that still moved decent, like the other prototype, but had a bigger like kit of like bombs and stuff, that'd be neat. For that matter, I mean, that's supposed to be the balance, right? You have a lot more weapon choices for lack of movement. I would argue the movement's always going to be more useful. So I think maybe giving a little bit more to the basic ships, but not to the point where it invalidates the ones with crazier stuff. I guess you would need more variety then, right? I don't know, man. Give them a railgun or something, right? Like, they're not as good fighters, but you know, they've got shit like railguns. That's another thing, too, is for the most part, there are some big boss enemies, but stuff that just clears lots of ground tends to be a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. It was solid. Yeah. I think you can make the argument that maybe also there's like... You could talk about level variety. I think the visual variety is great. There's snowy areas, there's like apocalypse areas, there's volcanoes, there's wildfires, there's, you know, just mountains, there's just plains, there's just pure all in the air fights and stuff. There's stuff at sea. They go through, you know, just about any area you could think of. Because it's not like some kind of Star Fox where you can turn on a dime, I get that they wouldn't have as many like crazy, you know, you're weaving in between buildings because it'd be almost impossible. Keanu Reeves, dude. Keanu Reeves might kickstart this one. But yeah. So I'm sure people could make the argument that there could be some more crazy, you know, I'm flying down a tunnel, or, you know, hyper big structures that you've got to like shoot bits off of, or some hyperplane. You know, they take it to that next level anime, but I think they're trying to strike kind of a balance. Obviously not like super realism or nothing, but other than like the crazy anime, I have a million railgun missile storms, it's just the bombs, and then other than that, it's pretty much, you know, somewhat real world weapons. The amount of ammo and stuff, obviously, and the amount of dudes you're killing is different, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I like the visual variety, and I think in the second half for sure the level variety, the actual level design variety was cool. There's a good mix of like ground stuff and air stuff and big guys and boss fights. I think they do good there. I think the first half of the game has a little too many of these 40-minute next wave spawns, next wave spawns, next wave spawns. But since you don't have a lot of killing power, it's kind of like, okay, they take a while. I'm glad they only had one civilian mission. That was cute, but I think that mission would be better later, when you're better at manually targeting shit, and you have ships that can turn on a dime more so you can actually do that kind of stuff. The problem is with the early game, you rely a lot on those multi-locks and shit, so you have to kind of like, dude, look at this guy, man. Motherfucker really wrote that whole thing out, man. There's a lot of Kickstarter backers. Yeah, I think the music was cool. There was good variety. They had your big or epic orchestral shit like this. And they had the theme that they would remix a little bit. You can hear it now in the credits. But they also would have like your 80s anime dogfight music, or even some chill tracks like in the part where we're going at the research facility, and I thought that was pretty cool. Wasn't like insanely standout soundtrack, like I wouldn't gonna be remembered forever or something, but I think it did a good job of hyping stuff up. I think the story was another weird part. There's a lot of like cool tactical chatter and stuff, but some of the delivery and just some of the lines come across, it turns into more cheese, right? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the tactical shit is kind of like purposely cheesy at times, but there's a limit to where it like overflows, man. It's just like, there's a lot of story stuff going when you're just super focused on the fights, so you're not really able to pay attention to every little thing. Obviously the heavy filters over everything don't make things as clear, but I'd rather have all the radio filters and shit. Otherwise it'd sound really odd. The voice acting is bad. What? Good stuff, man. Yeah. But I think for the most part the story hits where it needs to. Like there's big set pieces. They let you know the scale. Jose. They let you know when there's going to be big things happening, and they make it feel big enough. The music's hitting and people going crazy in the dogfights and all that. And it's like, it's hard not to get into it, even if there's some cheesy dialogue with that throughout. Yeah, overall I thought it was fun. It was cool. It feels really smooth. I guess that's the big thing, right? Is it feels really smooth. It looks nice. It doesn't look janky. Like, you can tell when you're just flying around, it looks good. You're getting first-person modes if you want and stuff, and third-person, so all that juicy stuff's there. For the most part, the controls are good. I would argue that maybe have an AOA on something that isn't the stick, so you can be a little bit more fine-tuned would be nice. Yeah. I didn't use the left-right move very much. I probably should have. But you know, it was fun. I don't know, is there anything else that needs mentioning? I don't know if I missed something. Dude, Star Fox ending, man. Oh no, Star Fox didn't even end like that, did it? No, it didn't. The Star Fox have the contract, and then fucking Pepper's like, fuck, man, that's a lot of money. And then they do the run through the sunset, or is it the last? I think that might be after the sunset. Contract over, yeah. Well, it said Presidia was in ruins or whatever. Was that what they're trying to? Was that the enemy capital? I already forgot. I think Cascadia was our capital. Yeah, like what happened to our wingmen and everybody else? I mean, I guess they're just good. Yeah, I think maybe like a small epilogue would have been fine. You could have a cliffhanger like sequel bait after that, but if you're invested at all in the characters, which I mean I don't blame you if you're not, then yeah, that's kind of a what. Yeah, I don't know what'll happen to them. Because that was supposed to be them winning the war too, so you kind of be like, oh, what's the state of things and all that? That'd be kind of cool. I guess they wanted to end it on the big emotional 1v1, but I don't think Crimson 1 was like that cool to really like do that. But yeah. You can make some arguments that the textures sometimes are a little iffy in this, but you're seeing them from so far away so fast. I don't think it's a problem at all. I liked the look of the game. Especially for a game made by like 3 people. It's pretty good. I don't think we're gonna do Conquest. I think it's just like an infinite horde type of mod. Yeah. So what? In recap, story, it hits where it needs to, but it's nothing crazy. There's a bit of cheese, but not even probably purposely cheesy. But it's fine. Music's pretty solid. Visually, it looks pretty good. There's a lot of variety. There's some little things with controls, like I said, the AOA and the flares being maybe a bit iffy. I would have another plane's worth of credits probably by the end of the game. Maybe some different weapons on some of your more maneuverable ships. And then maybe some super weapons or something on your less maneuverable but like more kitted out ships. Other than that, yeah, I think that's about it. It was good. I think overall I enjoyed it a lot. I'd play another one for sure. We did have technical issues. I forgot that. Ran like a dream. That was fine, but there's a moment there where I just couldn't start a mission. It was like I do like 30-40 minutes. I had to reinstall it. Apparently that's been a thing since like 2020. Installing it luckily works. For some people, they have to like install Unreal Engine 4 through the Epic Game Store or some shit. I don't know about all that. But yeah. Groovy. That was kind of weird, but otherwise it was fine. I was running the stream full quality, so. Don't got winged. I don't remember if there's any other issues. There might have been, but it's not a very large game. It's like 4 or 5 gigs. Cool though. Definitely play another one. What were my achievements, man? Let's check those out for fun. Only 1% of people beat the game on medium. 1.2. Jesus. 2.2 beat it on easy. .96 beat it. Mission 21. I guess the idea there is that people switch difficulties or something. Or wait, would that even matter? I'm super hungry too. Might go heat up some food, and then we'll start back up with Mario. And then after Mario, we'll do Dragon Quest. But I think Mario will take a few days. Hard mode, 2,000 targets, secret. Sell an aircraft. I mean, I guess you could technically have sold stuff, right? So the argument that, oh yeah, well, you could, have another ship if you sold some stuff, but I mean, you kind of want to collect them. I guess not. I guess you could sell them and maybe afford another, but the old ones are super cheap compared to the prototype. Alert level 20 in Conquest. Purchase every single unit in Conquest, but huh. Well, I'm not gonna mess with that. I already uninstalled it. So. Anywho, I'm gonna turn the stream off for now. I'm gonna eat real quick. I've been not eating before the stream. I'm watching the food, so I eat a few hours into the day. So. We'll come back with Mario, the total polar opposite of this. Well, maybe not the polar opposite, but pretty opposite. Alright, see you in a bit.